at Clifford Chance and at other law firms, particularly in across the legal industry, the critical aspect of the business case is actually the numbers of women that are entering the profession. So when I did my law degree approximately 30 years ago, there were already over 50% of graduates were women. That number has got to about 70% across the board. And so part of our business case, both at Clifford Chance and generally speaking, is that unless we look after women in our profession, we're not going to have sufficient numbers coming through, and that is of a critical nature. The three top actions that we have really looked at is, first and most critically, leadership on the issue. So there has to be an acknowledgement of an issue and then a real dedication to doing something actively to change that. The second aspect that we have found has been important is to do a deep dive on the data. So actually analyse the points at which women are leaving law firms or the profession in greater numbers than men, and then to understand the reasons for that so that you can look at some really specific interventions to turn that around. And then the third aspect is actually not only having good flexible work policies, but ensuring that that is coming into practice and that you're supporting women through particularly critical stages of their career to ensure that they can continue to advance. The action that's had the least impact is just a belief that simply through the pipeline changing, that somehow that was going to lead to the trickle-through effect. That, from having 50% 30 years ago, that somehow magically that would translate into greater numbers in the partnerships. Certainly there has been an increase over the last 25 years in Western Australia. It's gone from figures, I think, of about 4% to now 20%. But simply just waiting for greater numbers of women to come through is not going to have the impact. And the initial belief, sort of 10 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago, that was going to be the game changer is simply just wrong. The game changers are firstly acknowledging that there was an issue and that specific action needed to be taken in order to change. And then I think it's a combination of factors. I think the challenge that a lot of people have found in this area is there's not a magic bullet. There's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It is a multifactorial issue that needs attention across a range of measures in order to achieve success. I think one of the really critical things that we have seen change quite dramatically over the last 5 years is a commitment from our clients and the changing nature of our clients. One of the things that's really noticeable is the increasing numbers of women in senior leadership positions in legal teams at our clients, and they are requiring a change from us so that we mirror our clients. So that if there are senior women in our clients, they are wanting to see women on the opposite side of it, or the side of the table that goes into negotiate. And also the number of clients requiring us to address diversity issues when we are tendering for work. And that is certainly something that has changed quite dramatically in the last 5 years, and I think is leading to significant changes within the profession. For me, I think one of the critical things is to listen. I think that someone who has been a passionate advocate for gender diversity throughout my entire career, I have been taken by surprise on occasions when people have pointed out issues that perhaps I hadn't identified. For example, a couple of years ago when we were doing a consultation across the legal profession in Western Australia, it was pointed out to me that longevity of careers was a really significant issue for women in the profession, and that there were very few women over 45 in the profession. And I hadn't identified that as an issue at all, and it wasn't something that I was conscious of. And so I think part of it is to continue to listen to what the issues are, because they are changing, and then to make sure that you are addressing the problem that exists at the moment and not a problem that maybe you'd identified 5 years ago but that times have changed. And so I think that constant conversation and looking for developments, multifactorial solutions, looking at what works and what doesn't work is a really critical thing to keep doing.